Ladies and gentlemen, please finish up getting your coffee and drinks. Our tabletop session starts.
Shout that out very much. How are you enjoying it so far? That's okay. Yeah. That's okay, that's fine. I'm sure we'll take this.
Ladies and gents, without further ado, I would like to introduce Dino, our topics master for the day, who will be having the session for us. Dino?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back from your break. Hopefully you rejuvenated and you enjoyed that rollicking in the grass. So today's table topic session is going to be run a little bit differently. We're going to try something new. It's the form of a debate. Now, what exactly is a debate? It's pretty much a structured argument whereby, pretty much like what you have in your household, with your family members or your friends. This is going to be a little bit more structured in the form of, we're going to have the affirmative people talking the positive sides of the topic, and we're going to have people, the negatives, against this specific topic. So we've got our six contestants. I would like you guys, the evens, to be sitting on my left, and the odds on my right. You remember your names and numbers? Come on. So we've got number 2, Kaniswa. Number 4 is Nikki, and number 6 is Fred. And number 1 is Maki. Number 3 is Johan, and number 5 is Olivia. Odds and evens. Once you take a seat, you'll
See how it goes.
even and odds. Yeah. So you know, I think choose a thing. You can sit Maki, you won. Really, so that's it? Yep. Cool. Too confusing. It's a lot. Okay, so the difference about this table topic session, I apologize for my back, I need to give them some instructions. With our debate, it's going to be a structured approach, whereby we'll be starting with, I'll be giving you the topic. Once I hand it out, it's basically your research. You'll have 2 minutes to discuss the research, and pretty much structure your argument. You guys are for, against. I better write this down. Okay. What did I say? Positive.
And negative.
Negative. Exactly. So the way that we're going to structure it is that we're going to have the first speaker talk about their specific issue, then we're following up with a opposing argument or the negative part. Then, so we'll have the two speakers talking about their issues. Then the last person that will speak will be summarizing their argument. Okay. So the last person needs to be a very active listener in this debate. So just a quick tip about debates is just make sure your 1 to 2 minutes, just make it one clear statement, one clear claim, but then highlight it with a specific story. Okay, I'll benefit you. Okay, this is going to be fun. I'm so excited.
So much fun.
Okay, so there's been a lot of news lately about our national health insurance plan. This is going to be lovely. I've got 2 articles from News 24 giving you what you should need to know about the national health insurance plan. Okay. I'm going to give you a little bit more time than 2 minutes to discuss it. That's just topic number 1, and then topic number 2 is are today's role models, should we have role models in today's society? Okay, I don't have research on that second topic, so can I have a vote between the 2 groups? Which one should we do?
Second one.
Yeah, second one is much quicker.
The
first one.
Research.
Okay.
Okay, I'm changing it then. Okay, so the topic is.
The first one is about the
I'm going to change it on the spot. It's impromptu. I like to do this on the spot. So, in today's society, we have very colorful role models within our lives. And the one that pops up into my head is, because I watch soccer, is Ronaldo. Now, he has been in the news for sexual exploits and money laundering, and so are modern role models today people that we should be looking up to? So we got on the right hand side the people that will be against role models, modern role models, who they are. And then on the left we'll have 4 modern role models. Okay. Can you please discuss with yourselves? We have 2 minutes, timekeeper. Please can you just time 2 minutes to discuss how you want to stage your argument and who needs to go win. Okay. Yes, you can.
Okay, starting now.
You can start your 2 minutes now. Can I just go around the room whilst they're just busy talking? Can someone name a role model within their life?
Like somebody we know personally.
Personally,
Bill Gates.
what?
Since somebody we know personally, right? So.
Nice one.
Gotcha.
That's cool. So he's your role model because you know him personally. That's fantastic. You're going to go for it. Good luck.
Can they be living or aging?
Role model.
Well, one I'd actually probably mention is his name's Marcus Aurelius, and he was an emperor in Rome. And if you know anything about Roman history, it was quite turbulent and chaotic and absolutely bonkers, actually. Being an emperor was one of probably the position you didn't really want, although you wanted the power and the money and everything that came with it. He managed to keep his head on an even level, you know. surrounded by all this wealth and affluence and power. And I think it's quite incredible to actually, it's quite something back then to have that mindset. And I think it's something that's sorely lacking in politics now, is these inflated egos and the serving of self before serving others. And Marcus Aurelius embodied putting people before himself.
Correct me if I'm wrong, is he the same guy that was elected twice, even 3 times, to Emperor of the Roman Empire?
I thought it was the Toastmaster that Cicero would be his job.
Why is it? Cicero?
Speaker.
Speaker that.
He's a best known Roman speaker.
Time up.
I only know like emperors, so.
60 seconds.
Anybody else? Role models? Nobody? Okay. Well, we're going to learn the importance of a role model shortly.
Les Brown for me, current.
Les Brown.
Yes. He didn't grow up in the best of circumstances. He was adopted. He was not very bright in school. In fact, he was labeled as educational impaired. And he talks about how he started off not having a very positive self-image of himself. In fact, he had a very poor self-image of himself, and he could barely speak in front of people. But because of his determination, and a teacher actually, Harold, who helped him think about himself differently and gave him a different label to himself, he's now an international speaker.
Okay, guys.
Time up.
So, thank you. Your time is up for your research, your way that you're tackling this. Can you please indicate who will be going first, second, and then third in summarizing the argument?
For us, the Edens.
Yes. Who will be going
So
first?
starting for us, I'll be going on second, and Fred will be summarizing for us.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Thank you very much. Okay.
What?
So, one. Olivia. Here we go. Okay, thank you. So one, Olivia, you're number 2, and number 3 to summarize your argument. Maki. Okay, guys. So, we're going to start off our debate. And we are debating are there modern role models within our lives? And are these modern role models positive or negative? I would like to welcome Kainiso to the front to start our debate. Please come to the front. He will be having 1 to 2 minutes. Please can you welcome Kainiso to the front.
Good day, Toast leader, Toastmasters. These days we need role models who are role models. Because with role models they are a beacon of hope. They are the reason of making us see that the life we live this year today is fast, and it changes very, very unexpectedly. Meaning technology is changing, and we need people in the technology space who are super models, who are super role models, like Batman, like Spider-Man, like Superman. We need him to give us that assurance, although they are scrutinized to become victims of abuse, victims of killings, victims of what's this word? They become victims. Yeah, they just become victims, and those things are all accusations. Nothing is real. With today's social media, good, responsible people, they like tarnished. I don't know why, what for, I don't know why, but they are tarnished.
I would like to welcome to the front Olivia to discuss the negative side of role models.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for Lisa, who just spoken and said that role models are hope for the life of today. And if you say that to our young people, we are already putting them into deep shit, deep hole. Because since they will know that they are role models of today, they will just follow them without thinking twice, without even realizing that where they are going to maybe die. And the implication that their life will be if they follow those role models. We all know that on the social media, on the television, they show this role model. Sometimes, if you watch the Batman and the Superman, as you said, that they are victims of abuse. They cannot say they are victims of abuse when they are not. They are actually victims of abuse. And if our young people are following them to do the abuse that they are doing or killing, as you have mentioned, then it means we are not putting them on the right foot path. I would think that people like Ronaldo, as our main speaker mentioned, that is accused of sexual exploitation as a football player, as a legend, as one would put it. Many young people seeing him on the field and then hearing what he is doing, they will just go and do the same thing that he is doing. There's never a way that we will say, no, don't do this, because they will say, Ronaldo is doing the same thing. And most of them are not only accused, but they are drug addicts. And if they were not doing that, they would not have been testing them before, then asking some of them not to play. So they have bad behavior, which they also teach other people that follow them as their role model. Thank you.
I would like to welcome Nikki to the front to talk about the positive sides. Round two. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Floor Speaker. I'll be going on. Superheroes, Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy, they each have their own unique set of values. They all serve one purpose, which is to save the world, to benefit those around them. Everyone is different. Captain America, although may have had superhero enhancement, or human enhancement, he managed to manage the Hulk, Iron Man, Hawkeye, everyone in the Marvel cinema, making it. Okay, my conclusion is, no, not my conclusion, my point is, being comfortable with oneself. Your differences do not make you any more inferior than anyone around. each of these people, each of these role models are there for you to look up to be the best version of yourself and not to compare yourself with them. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I would like to welcome Johan to finalize the negative parts of role model. Thank you.
Really, that previous speaker, I have never heard so much rubbish in all my life. No, all the examples he gave us, they're all make-believe people. They don't really exist. Eh? They give us false hopes. No, come on, guys. That's really bad. False hopes. They're all in the imagination. Come on, what we want is some real facts, not comic book characters. What else is there? You did really well. Go and switch your green light on. All right, thank you.
Okay, so generally part of the debate, this is the section where you have a caucus, where you summarize your thoughts and your ideas, and you also add, you look at the opponents, their arguments, find some flaws in it. That's part of the summary. You got a minute to do that. I've got 1 minute. Okay. Would anybody else like got a minute to tell me about their role model within their life? Anybody?
I'd like to say that it's someone that I admire, and her name is Chimamanda Ngozi. She's a writer, and she's written amazing books. And one of my favorite books that she's written is one called, in fact, quite a few. Yeah. So I think I'll probably go with Half of a Yellow Sun. So there's a bit of history relating to Nigeria. I think around the Biafra War, I can hear Tambu nodding and saying, well, in agreement, that she's an amazing writer. But over and above that, she says that she's a feminist. And I know that in some cases, when we hear that word feminist, it sounds like a dirty word.
Yeah.
But when you listen to why she says that she's a feminist, it's really because of analyzing women and young girls and seeing them as being downtrodden people in the past. And how when you look at them now, there's a future for them. So the focus really is not so much on saying that I'm a feminist, so we need to pull men down, but it's more of how can we raise girls. I think yesterday we heard that it was the day of the girl child. So it's really about uplifting each other up. So it's not about putting men down and raising women. So that's what I love about her.
Thank you very much, Cliff. Cool, thank you very much. Okay, guys, thank you for that. So you gathered your thoughts and your ideas. What's going to happen now is that we're actually going to start off with the negative side and we'll end off with the positive side. End on a positive note, I like that. Okay, so I would like to welcome to the front Maki to present the summary. Thank you.
Fellow Toastmasters, thank you. Should we really be following superheroes as our role models? Because those are fantasies. They're make-believe characters that we want our kids to follow. You said we should be noble standard of beauty? Are they? Should the likes of Ronaldo be somebody that we would want our kids to aspire to? If your answer is yes, then I think you should have your head examined. Role models, or modern role models, which is the topic for today. We're looking at people that are on social media, that layer their faces with makeup, that live a life that's unrealistic, that live a life that is not based on community, like what Matthew said earlier in his speech. Modern role models model bad behavior, what we shouldn't be doing, or what they've actually contributed to the problems of what we have today. Being a disconnected community, being all about the self, not really taking the time to get to know each other as a society. If you were talking about Nelson Mandela, Steve Biko, Margaret Thatcher, the Dalai Lama, as people to aspire to, I say viva to that. But if you're talking about modern role models, like the Kardashians, like the Ronaldos, like the Jabu Bule, ask yourself this question. Should our kids, the leaders for tomorrow, be looking towards the people like the ones that I've mentioned as role models?
Yeah, yeah. Hooray.
Thank you, Dr. Now I would like to close off with the positive side, summary. Please welcome Fred to the front. Thank you.
This is Toastmasters. Okay, Maki, you mentioned the Kardashians, Nelson Mandela, Steve Biko. I put it to you that maybe these days it's not actually the role models that have changed. Maybe it's just the lens through which we observe the role models that have changed. If Nelson Mandela had Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and press following him 24/7, do you think he might have also shown some flaws? Let me bring to you Martin Luther King. Is Martin Luther King's dream any less valid because he cheated on his wife? We cannot judge our role models by their flaws, because that's not why we have role models. The fact is, role models are humans. So if we're bringing to the table that role models should not have any flaws, any bad press, or any bad things in their background, then what we need are robots to be role models, not human beings. What we look at, all superhuman. I mean, they keep on contesting that we are talking about people that don't exist, but neither did Clint Eastwood, really. He was not like that in his real life, or any other role models that we followed growing up. We follow what they represent, which is the idea that any human can come from struggles and make it to somewhere, regardless of their flaws and regardless of their downcomings. Sorry about that word. So I put it to you guys that what makes a role model is not the fact that they're perfect, but the fact that they're imperfect, but still achieved something greater. And that should inspire you. Thank you.
That was a lot more interesting than national health insurance. Oh, thank goodness. I changed on the spot. So, in any argument, want to say there's winners and there's losers, but I do want to congratulate both our teams for presenting such good work. Honestly, this is why I love Toastmasters and impromptu sessions. I kind of always get goosebumps, or didn't realize that someone actually can bring that up. It's quite amazing. So please can everyone give them a round of applause. Then, so can we just have a raise of hands? Are we more for the modern role models? Or are we more for the I don't want to say negative because it's the whole clause, the statement was modern role models, and the positive side did highlight the fact about positive modern role models and the fact of Marvel Comics. You kind of said it, you finished off by saying it's about what they represent and they're not really human. Whilst on Maki's side over here, you started speaking about the role models in lives, like the Kardashians and all those people. You actually seeing that they are very fake. So I just would like to say, who do we go with? Do we go with the modern people, or do we see that modern people do have flaws and we do see everything wrong with them?
Show of hands.
So positive, negative.
Positive.
So I would like to say positive side.
Positive.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, that's all of us.
Okay, that's
Okay,
a
next
no-brainer.
slide.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Topic Master, what party do you belong to? Don't be unbiased. I mean, don't be biased.
I'm the person right in the middle.
Yeah, sitting on the fence.
So guys, there's a piece of paper in front of you. Please can you vote for the best impromptu speaker? I do think it's a little bit hard to do that, but yeah.
So one of those 6. We're voting for one of those 6.
For one of the 6.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, guys, thank you very much for participating. Thank you.
Thanks. You're doing very well. It was good fun, wasn't it? And you did very well too.
Okay, guys, timekeeper, please can you give us our times for the different speakers?
Yes, sure, I can do that. Okay, Kanyiso, 1 minute 56 seconds. Olivia, 2 minutes 4 seconds. Nikki, 1 minute 11 seconds. Yowen, 1 minute. Maki, 2 minutes 23 seconds. And Fred, 2 minutes 19 seconds. Thank you.
That concludes my role as table topic master. I would like to thank you for the participation and just the in-between little discussions. It was very cool. Thanks, guys. And with that, I would like to welcome Harold to the front as our evaluation chair.
Greetings again, ladies and gentlemen. And we go straight into our evaluation session where we evaluate the speeches that we heard. And if you thought the speeches were really good, this is your opportunity to hear that they could still be improved and to hear how they could still have been improved. Our first evaluator this morning will be Tambu, and Tambu will be evaluating Hugo's speech. Please welcome Tambu to the floor.
go to Hugo. How to talk through 45 years of your life in 6 minutes flat. Almost flat, just 5 seconds. That was a stunning rendition of your life within a very short space of time. Just a few things that I thought were particularly great about your speech to take note of. The first thing is the genius use of the third person when you were narrating your own life. It can be hard for us to talk about ourselves and our life, but the way you did it made it so much easier, probably for yourself, but for us to follow the story. It was like a running commentary of your own life. And within that, you took advantage and used some imagery that was very helpful to us to follow. For example, at 6 pounds and 5 ounces, Ronald entered the fray of life. I could almost see this little baby in a boxing ring with Ronald on the one side and life on the other side. And I was ready to hear how the rest of your life went. Other phrases that you used very well were the dusty streets of the township, the rolling stone continued to gather moss. There were countless. I only have 2 minutes, or Nancy will throw me off. Then I also enjoyed your sense of humor. It kept us hooked on your story, but it also made your story palatable for us. I can't go without mentioning Finsom. We could all see what you as a young boy were going through as you were hearing these inaudible tomes that we were soon to learn. Then I also particularly thought you had a very strong beginning to your speech. You started with a strong voice, you acknowledged everybody in the room, and you carried that strength right through to the end of your speech. If I have to be pressed to find an area for improvement, because as I said to you, I felt you had a brilliant speech with very little that I could pick on. I noticed there were portions of your speech where you spoke a little fast. And I'm assuming, and I think as you said as well, it's because you had to fit quite a lot in. And you sped up in places where you felt maybe we didn't need a lot of detail. But we were trying to catch up with you because we were enjoying hearing what you were talking about. Maybe in future a suggestion could be to either cut it out or follow it with a pregnant pause to help us catch our thoughts up to you and carry on with you to the next concert. The second thing that maybe I might suggest, I could very well have missed it, Hugo, was you brought in your home country towards the end. Would have been great when you were talking about Mfakose, the place where you were born, because those are suburbs that might not be familiar to people that are here, to bring Zimbabwe in a little bit earlier. Don't know if I did miss it. But all in all, very well done. Incredible level of detail that you managed to squeeze into 6 minutes. And I don't think anyone could have done that better. Well done for your icebreaker.
A good speaker, a good evaluator. And I hope she didn't say anything too off-color, because if she did, Hugo can now get his revenge. As he evaluates Tambu's speech, please welcome you.
Thank you, Evaluations Chair. Hello everyone once again. Tambu, well done. I certainly don't have the presence and the calmness that you have when it comes to evaluation, so you'll have to pardon me, but I will follow in your footsteps. I particularly enjoyed your rather calm demeanor. I think it worked very, very well for what you were trying to achieve, and certainly for the subject matter. The use of gestures was very appropriate, and I felt it allowed for the exclamation of the point that you needed to address. Very descriptive. So we were with you in that narrative when you talked to us about the things that you had gone through. Pillow of precise proportions. Probably should write a book. You took time to pause when there was a disturbance. I noticed that somebody walked in at a time when you were speaking. You didn't stop because that potentially would take away from what you were trying to achieve. But at the very same time, you didn't race through what you had to say. You slowed down and allowed that individual to sit down, and possibly an opportunity for you to calm yourself in the process. So very well done. A couple of things only that I'd like to propose. Vocal variety. I felt that there was a little monotone. There is an opportunity for an icebreaker, because up front we're told that you are speaking to an unfamiliar audience. And when you are speaking to an unfamiliar audience, in my opinion, you want an icebreaker. You want people to know a little bit about yourself, because you are going to be vulnerable and so are they. So the minute that you introduce that vulnerability, I think it allows everybody who's in the audience to pay more attention to what it is that you have to say. And for you to challenge yourself, I would suggest that you try or you learn to speak louder. The aircon, I think, which has been turned off, was a lot louder when you were speaking. And there were times when you lowered your voice and we struggled, certainly I struggled, to hear the things that you were saying. So I think an opportunity for you to speak up or pay attention to any external noises. Other than that, very well done. Thank you.
And we now get to the second wrestling match between Harold and Matthew. Harold was your third speaker, and please welcome Matthew to the front to evaluate his speech.
Evaluations Chair, fellow Toastmasters, guests and visitors, and Harold, well done on your speech this morning. And I think what I enjoyed about evaluating Harold's speech is vocal variety is something I've struggled with since I've joined Toastmasters, and I'm still on my way to improving. So it's actually great to see and evaluate someone who's also struggling with the issue, because Harold mentioned to me during the evaluation session that vocal variety is something he finds difficult. I'll go through 3 things I loved and 2 things to work on. So the very first thing I loved is the subject of the speech provided an opportunity for vocal variety, and I mean that in a sense that education is quite a emotive topic in South Africa. The state of education, problems in education, what students are learning and what they're not learning, and it provides you the opportunity to be emotive about the topic. And I really enjoyed the topic that you chose to express that. The second thing is that I could see and share that you were trying to vary your voice, and someone who struggles with it, it takes us a little bit more effort to actually do it in our speeches. And I could see that you were putting in the effort to vary your voice, so well done for that. Then the third thing is you had good awareness of the timekeeper. Your speech was 5 to 7 minutes, and you finished at 7 minutes and 34 seconds, and you wrapped it up quickly. What happens when you get here as a speaker, and sometimes as an inexperienced speaker, is you're caught in this little box, and you're not aware of what's happening around you, and you're certainly not aware of the timekeeper. So it's a good hallmark of an experienced speaker is to be aware of the timekeeper and respect your audience's time as well. So well done for that. 2 things to work on would be the content. So Harold mentioned this to me during our feedback session. He said he had a little bit too much content, and that came through in the time that you did finish your speech. And a suggestion for that is you can write or prepare a speech to the minimum time requirement. Because what that allows you to do is, because if you do write your speeches, then it gives you the opportunity to add speech enhancers, like you move across the stage, use body language, you change your voice and everything, and that eats up time as well. So if you write to the minimum time, then it'll help you to stick to that time and use your voice more. The second thing is pauses. And yes, pauses didn't come across too well, and I think because you were rushing to finish your speech, the speech that you had prepared this morning. And that took away the opportunity to add these more poignant pauses throughout your speech. Just on getting to use your voice a bit more, and this is for everyone listening. I received this suggestion from an evaluator of mine who says you can be overly dramatic when you're practicing your speeches at home. So go full tilt when you're practicing your speeches, because it gives you an opportunity to move beyond what your voice is comfortable with. So it's just one suggestion for everyone here. Harold, well done, and I wish you all the best for your next project.
Thank you, Matthew. And for that person who said pregnant pauses earlier today, the correct expression is poignant. Sorry?
Carry on, Mr. Grammarian.
Sorry?
Yes, it does.
So carry on, Mr. Grammarian.
Oh, shut up.
Mr. Grammarian, it does exist too, to mean that it's a pause that's carrying something.
No, shut up. Shut up. Shut up, all of you. Matthew, thank you very much for your speech today. A good topic, and I think it's one that we all identified with. It's something that we know is a problem in the world today. I love the language that you use and the words that you use. You have a good command of the English language. And you're a very good presenter. I've found speeches that you've done in the past and today, you come across very well. You're very personal and you speak well to the audience. The program that you had was media presentation, so you were speaking to a TV. I believe that you perhaps need a bit more practice at that. Because I think when you see yourself in the video, you will find yourself moving around like that. And if it was on a small screen, with just focused on you, and you were talking to an audience, it would look rather odd with you looking over there, because they're going to think you're looking at the studio around you. And perhaps it would have been better if you sat down, or you had a lectern so that you could just have the top half of you. Now it means we'll miss the bottom half and those very nice legs that you displayed. But it would still be appropriate for the media presentation. You mentioned to me that you thought that in the latter stages of your speech you were losing the audience a little bit. And I sensed that as well. I think if you built in a few real life anecdotes into your speech, and also questions, maybe rhetorical questions into your speech that get people thinking, you would have kept the audience attention. Real life anecdotes can be talking about somebody who tried to do something on their own, and when they decided to be part of the community, how it benefited them from there on, and how it benefited the community. And I'm sure you could have found a few of those to supplement what you were saying. But all in all, I enjoyed your presentation, and I really do love the sincerity which you project when you speak. I look forward to your next project. Well done. have a grammarian report, AMAR report, and a timekeeper's report.
So
I'm going to be the timekeeper last, and I'm going to ask you to time the grammarian and the AMAR keeper as well, if you would please.
Okay, and how many minutes is that? Is that a minute? 2 minutes?
It's on the program.
It is 5 minutes each.
5 minutes each.
But I see we are
I've never done that before.
Sorry, I
running
stole some
short
of the time.
on time.
Oopsie.
How long would you like to give?
I will
You know,
give them
your
3
fault.
minutes each,
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
like an evaluation. I think it's better if you come up here, then we can film you while you're doing it. Please welcome our grammarian for the day, Anay.
To Mr. Hanabi grammarian, a pregnant pause is a technique of comic timing used to accentuate a comedy element. So there is such a word, and it was lovely. Thank you.
Could you WhatsApp that?
I certainly will. As you all know, the word of the day was rollick, and I absolutely loved it. I loved the use of the word, very well done. Hino used it twice. He said a rollicking event, and he also said rollicking in the grass. I would love to know who that was.
Wow.
That's a bit tough.
Harold used it as rollicking mood. Tambu called out rollicking sanguine. Absolutely loved the play on words. Mandy also called out rollicking mood, and Anna called out a rollicking introduction referring to Harold. Our grammarian reports, you had a very colourful and vibrant use of language. I loved how you turned spanking bottom into a team speech. You called out that you lost him. That was lovely. We could see you opening up as this beautiful flower. Thank you very much. And then as Tambu called out, you were a rolling stone who continued to gather moss, and you were 45 and still counting. That was really nice. Tambu, I loved how you said that you felt boxed into a conservative environment. You created a really good picture of this box, where you spoke of a pillow of precise proportions, and your duvet was laid out corner to corner. It was a lovely anecdote. Harold, I love how you called out how metric doesn't serve or add to any valuable occupations. That was really
true, and that pupils need to take more responsibility for their own education, and parents need to be more involved, because we all take that very much for granted. Matthew, I liked how you called out, or you used the words, a sense of community and a sense of belonging as a verb. It was really nice. And I loved how you called out, a dark world truly beckons when selfishness finds its way. Then you also called out, life is dangerous, treacherous, and deadly. You created quite a vivid imagery. For the table topics, we had lots of good words. Nkaniso, you called out. Role models are beacons of hope. And I love the comparison which you made to Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man, which are all my own heroes. Olivia, I liked how you called out that the role models are actually victims of abuse. It's a very unique perspective to look at it. Nikki, you called out superheroes have very unique values. Johan, superheroes are make-believe and give us false hopes. Maki, do we want our kids to follow make-believe characters? And Fred, last but not least, the lens through which we observe our role models. I went way over time,
Yes,
but
you did.
we had a really good use of language, and I had to call it all out.
You thought she wasn't listening, eh? Next up is our counter. Then go into the front.
Just taking up some of the time I don't need. For exactly the reason the drawers was long is because there was so much wondrousness. Mine is short because there was so few mistakes made. So wonderful concentration and diligence and use of pregnant pauses. Stuff like that. Hugo, Tambu, Harold and Matthew, all four speakers. Not one flaw that I picked up. Not an R. Zero.
Very nice.
Very little to share. I feel like I'm picking on people, but anyway, I have a job to do. Olivia, there was one and one so.